Growing up in India, I grew up. I was born and brought up in the city of Chandigarh, which is the cleanest and city of India. It's modern. It's very much like Greensboro. It's clean, sleepy, green, and not much eventful. I feel it. I feel at home here. Like I was in a middle class family, and I was very like a recluse child. I would spend most of the time indoors drawing or reading. So, and it was like easy, peaceful. Like I said, not much eventful. Just, I didn't have many friends. I was very shy and introvert. I still am. I would mostly keep to myself, one or two friends. Sometimes, go climb up mango trees for fun sometimes, or ride a bicycle. And like images of gods. Right from the start, I was very religious or spiritual, and I like apart from the cartoons like Spider-Man, Batman, or things like that. I would always I was drawing gods, Indian gods. Like my family was normal religious, like the everyone else is, but I was too much drawn into it. Like personal, I had a small personal uh, temple built in my room, and so there's a monkey god Hanuman. I was very fan of him because he was like a Superman. So I would draw him a lot, read about these religious texts, stories. Indian mythology greatly inspired me right from the start. I was very drawn into it. That was a part of my not just growing up, but it was part of my personality. Like praying a lot and drawing those gods. That stayed for even now in the background of all my paintings. As soon as I was in seventh grade, I was doing some book illustrations for some publishers who were friends with my father. So that gave me a lot of confidence, and that I can sell my art. And then at that time, I planned I'll join the College of Art. So I was very good at in the studies, and then I got to this college, and so even though I was studying commercial art, but whenever I did my paintings, I always thought of what stories I would paint, and those were always those mythologies that I have been reading all my life. So I started when I first started drawing and paintings for like creative paintings, which are supposedly go to the museums or galleries, which is not for any client. They were based on these stories from Indian myth, and like the wheel and the warrior, and I really like to celebrate the efforts and struggle, the heroism, and the failure and the heroism, that kind of stuff. So I started, and it was very the form I was very drawn into, like Michelangelo and Western artists, but the stories were all Indian. So I liked to draw those heroes and demigods and the bows and arrows and that kind of stuff, but in my own figurative style. So those stories, slowly I start dissolving them. Like from I started more realistic than I, but still the stories in the background always remained of those characters like Krishna and Abhimanyu, Arjuna. Those warriors, they really greatly inspired me. Like I made a stylized eye, or a hand, like a blessing hand from a god. And then I also use my script, the Hindi script. So I write the mantras that I chant, or even if I don't chant them as much as I used to, but I remember them. So I would sneak in an om in my painting, or like a chanting for Lord Ganesha hidden in the painting somewhere. So they always stay in my painting that way. And I think that also answers the question of how I combine my Indian culture into my art. So it's like a part of me, and I just can't do without it. It has to be there. Like I love to draw a lot of dancers because dancers are also very graceful and like warriors. And one of the famous Indian gods is Shiva, whose iconography of Nataraja, which is he's in a dancing pose, is really very strong and very impactful, like intense. And I've used it in my paintings a lot of times. Even in my recent series, I have a Nataraja, and that just you know, fills me with so much of passion, vigor, intensity. And as a child, I was merely copying them as I would see them in the popular representation, like in calendar art or the paintings that you put up in your temple, or the icons or sculptures that you see in temple. But slowly, as I reached College of Art, I realized that you have to be more expressive and more modern and more free from the realism, to be more creative. So I started dissembling them and simplifying them, and then I would just use some symbols sometimes, like the trunk of the Lord, or the hand, blessing hand, or symbolism like a triangle or an eye. So like I started simplifying them. I wanted to show that I have a great flow of line, which is very important, and many artists do not have that. So I brought that to more forefront, and the figure starts like dissolving and getting into background, suggestive. So that's how it, like, I think that's the evolution I saw. We can say that my brother has been living here for long, so it made sense when I got my visa to be close here. And he said like Greensboro is easy, I could work from anywhere, I had all virtual clients, and he said it will be easy and we can get in touch, and it's not so expensive, it makes sense. And one of my friends lives in Raleigh, and he also said, yeah, that's a good area. So that's how I ended up in Greensboro. I came here in 2018 March, so it's like 3 years. I would definitely call Greensboro my second home. Like, yeah, I love the place, and I found love here. So I think it's like home is where the heart is. and I got some good opportunities to work here, which is very important for me. So I do feel it's home. It's kind of, when I came here, I was focused more on illustration. That was the basis of my visa, like book illustrations and animation and design work and paintings. So when I came here, I saw this huge mural on the side of the Red Cinemas, which is done by some of the best muralists in the world. And I was like awestruck. I said, like, how can you do it like so big and so refined? And it was some urge that strongly came into me that I want to do this thing. I want to check mark this also. I've done drawings, I've done sculptures, paintings, design, animation, illustrations, graphic designs. I said, like, this is also I have to do like this thing. And then I started reaching out to local people, like business owners, and asking for opportunities if I can do some mural, because I knew I can do painting. It's just I have to scale it up. So I started with smaller murals around. Like my first mural was in Kernersville for a bar, and that was like maybe 8 feet by 15 feet, but it was still bigger than the canvases I would do. That gave me a little confidence. And then people told me that there is this Cotis Street Art owned by Mr. Marty Cotis, and he supports a lot of mural art, and he's the one who got that mural done on Red Cinemas. So I got in touch with him, his manager, and then we had a meeting. He was very open to meet. He went through my work, and he liked some of my paintings, and I said, I want to do murals. And he said, yeah, sure. Like we love to involve new artists. And how would you like to do? What would you like to paint? And he liked one of my paintings of the ballerina, which I did in like impressionist style. And he said, why don't you replicate it on a wall? That would be a start. Or something, or I said I want to start with something smaller first. So in the cinema they do like these Indian movies. So I did two Indian movie star caricatures, and that's how I started with murals. And then that ballerina happened, which was my first outdoor mural of a big size, like 20 feet high. So after that, there was no stopping. And then one after another, I started. He liked my work. He really supported me, and he gave me so much of work. And then other people started noticing me. And now I have more than like 30, 35 murals here in Greensboro, Winston-Salem, High Point. But right now the theater is closed, but they do feature Indian movies. So yes, I painted Shah Rukh Khan and Amitabh Bachchan, two biggest stars of Bollywood. I painted their caricatures. Uh, when I was in my college, I think in third year of my College of Art, I was doing BFA. I did this children book, and I won a national award for that at that young age. And it was I was very, very like excited, and it gave me a lot of confidence. I held my first art exhibition, solo art exhibition in that year. I was still in the college, and when I was in the final year of college, which was the fourth year, I got a job as newspaper illustrator in one of the leading English newspapers in India. So I think that was a big start for me. And then I did my master's in art history, which not many people would know. So I'm pretty solid in the theory side also. I worked as an art critic for a decade for the newspaper, and those are some things which I think which has helped me evolve overall as an artist, as a thinker, like all these things, my spirituality, my academic background, and a lot of experience in different kind of works, like from illustration to graphics to animations to murals. I think this has all support each other, all these forms. And some people just think, oh, he's a painter or he's an illustrator, but there are a lot of things that form the complete Raman. A lot of things going on, and I'm very happy I could do all that. And now I would say, like, as I came here 3 years ago, it's kind of a restart for me, for everything, because I didn't know many people here, and it's kind of a reset. So I'm still trying to establish myself all over again. But I think God has been kind. It's going well so far, and so people are noticing the work, and I hope it will get even better. Then my mom also started saying before her death somehow that maybe you will be more successful if you go to America, and you are talented, and I stopped you and whatever. Maybe it was the way it was supposed to happen. And then I suddenly lost her in 2017. Then I thought, like, this may be a second chance, or the only chance I can take now. Like, sometimes big tragedies shake you up and make you think, or make you take risks. At that time I thought, like, life is short, and let's try. And I researched and found about this artist visa, which is for people with extraordinary abilities. It's called O1, and I applied for it. And luckily, I think all that helped, all those years I had that experience, and those certificates, those awards, that all helped me qualify for that visa. And I think it was supposed to happen on this time. I believe in that, like, things happen on the right time. So if you believe in that, I think that can help you take the risk.